Injuries are happening every single day, even outside of the athletic playing field. So it's always good to be prepared and ready for any accident that can occur. Today, what I'm going to demonstrate is how to assess a situation. At Indiana University, I'm an exercise science major, so I have taken a class called the Injury Prevention and Care. So understanding what to do in a situation and how to address the person who has been injured. So imagine someone is walking down the street. You see them fall off a curb, land on their wrist. The first step that you take is going up to them asking if they are okay. If they respond, you know that they're there with you, so everything is still continuing to be okay. You address the situation, look for deformities, discoloration, look for blood, wounds, or any abnormality to the wrist that occurred. If you notice something significantly, such as a wound, address it right away. Of course, you won't be having a first aid kit on you, but in this situation, say you do. Having sterilization prep pads, gloves, and gauze, band-aids, tape to address that wound and to make sure that the blood does not touch you while you are cleaning and sterilizing the wound and covering it. Say that the wound has not occurred and there are no deformities within the skin. So you assume that it could be just a wrist sprain. The best way to assess this is with RICE, rest, ice, compression, and elevation. So with someone who has a sprain, you can immediately assume that there's going to be inflammation and irritation within the wrist itself or the joint. So immediately what you need to do is have compression with a first aid bandage. According to this chart, you can understand what to do in any situation with any body part that has been injured, sprained, strained, what needs to be iced, what needs to be compressed, and has full details indicating what to do in this situation. And today we're going to be focusing on the wrist, saying that our client has sprained their wrist or strained their wrist. So what we'll start with is an ACE bandage and a bag of ice. So you want the ice to be firmly on the injured part because you want the inflammation to go down with the ice. So what you need to start with is some people prefer the ice to be directly on their skin. Many don't. It's irritating. So you start with one wrap around the wrist. Put the ice on the injured area. We'll say the inside of the wrist is the injured area. And we will continue in a figure 8 motion. So around the hand and back through. Around the hand again, and back through, covering all parts of the ice bag, and back through again, coming to a complete. At this point, you will have clips available with this ACE bandage. Some are self-adhesive, but these are not. These will be used with clips. You'll come across and clip in. There should be enough. There are usually 3. You may not always need 3. And here you are. Compression, ice, and elevation above the heart will also help with inflammation and swelling. Hopefully this never has to happen to you, and hopefully you'll never have to do it to yourself or help someone else with it. But just in case, it's best to be prepared, and hopefully this demonstration has prepared you.